All right. Welcome everyone to the Gorge Women in STEM's Company Spotlight Series event. If you haven't met me yet, my name is Leila Kaneda and I'm going to be your moderator tonight. And I'm also one of the women on the leadership team for the Gorge Women in STEM. So a little bit about us, Gorge Women in STEM, which we're also known as GWIS, if you've heard that acronym a little bit, is a group founded towards the end of 2017 that focuses on connecting and supporting women that work for companies in the STEM field, so science, technology, engineering, and math throughout the Columbia River Gorge. And coming out of COVID and the whole pandemic, we're really focused on rebuilding our community this year and reminding the women in our community, those that we've reached and those that we haven't yet, that we're here to support them and help them thrive. And a big part of that effort has been really expanding our online presence and reconnecting through Slack and social media. So if you haven't really had a chance to get connected, or maybe this is your first event, or you're really checking us out for the first time and you want to stay informed, stay connected, you can sign up for a mailing list, and also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Slack, and LinkedIn. Those are the 5 that we've got going on right now. And so quick note, this year, we're incredibly grateful to be sponsored by Overwatch Imaging and Sightline Applications, which are 2 companies in the Gorge Tech Alliance. Their support this year is helping us fund some of our events like this, as well as do a lot of the foundational work and promotion we have going on for 2022. You may not have seen a lot of that yet, but a lot more of that's about to be rolling out, and you'll see the big impact that they've had. And if you are personally wondering or how you or your company can get involved and be like Sightline or Overwatch, just send us an email and we'd love to chat and talk with you and see how we can get you plugged in. But now for the fun stuff, the whole reason you came, the Spotlight Series event. So this series, a little bit about it, is designed to feature different companies in the Gorge Tech Alliance through the lens of the women who work at these companies. We believe that women play a critical role and provide a unique perspective in STEM companies, regardless of their position. And while we know that many companies value the diversity of thought that they bring, but there's still a lot of work to do to make sure women are fully supported and valued wherever they go. So we're excited to start the conversation in the community so that we can celebrate our achievements and learn how we can grow. And what better way to do that than to hear from the women themselves? So tonight, we are featuring Custom Interface, a company out of Bingen, Washington. Our panelists tonight are Amber Bennett, a technical writer and first article technician, Amy Courtney, a human resources manager, and Monica Ayala, a finance and payroll specialist. All 3 of our panelists and myself use the pronouns she and her. Thank you so much for being here tonight with us, everybody. So let's start out by hearing from each of the panelists. Just tell us a little bit about who you are, maybe what your role is at Custom Interface, how long you've been with the company, and anything else you'd like to say. Amy, let's start with you.
Hi everyone, so I'm Amy Courtney and I'm the HR manager at Custom Interface, and I've been with the company for about a little over 5 years, and I started in purchasing, did some kitting in our inventory area, and then I've been moving into HR as that extra help was needed, and now I'm the HR manager.
Great, thank you. How about Amber?
Hi, Amber Bennett. I'm a technical writer and first article technician. I've been with the company for 3 years, and I started out as a first article technician and became a first article technician lead, like a team lead, and then did that for a couple years, and then I recently did technical writing.
Great. And Monica, how about you?
Hi, my name is Monica, and I've been with the company for a little bit over 9 years now. And I've always been in the finance department, which I totally enjoy being in. And I, in general, just love being with Custom Interface.
Awesome. So one of the first things we want to do is learn a little bit more about Custom Interface. So Monica, maybe since you've been with the company the longest, can you tell us a little bit about what you guys do at Custom Interface?
So we pretty much just build custom cables, wire harnesses to fulfill the customer's needs and wants. We just kind of take their drawings and make their drawings come to life.
Very cool. And are some of these customers companies out of the Gorge, or do they tend to be all over the world? What does a customer look like?
They're scattered pretty much all over. We have a lot of variety in our customers located, so we kind of deal with multiple.
Yeah, our customers are a few different industries too, like aerospace, automotive, solar, medical, audio. We're even doing some like inner and outer space stuff, like satellites. So that's pretty cool that we have like such a variety and such a diverse group of customers.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Especially for, when we're out here in the Gorge, a lot of times we just think about, oh, it's just a bunch of tech companies, maybe serving drones or some other avenues, right? And to know that, hey, this is a company that reaches way beyond that, does a lot of different cool things. That's really great. Okay, so we know a little bit about what custom interface does. How would you all best describe the company culture at Custom Interface? Amy, how about we start with you?
Yeah, so we kind of were talking about this, and we kind of feel like one of the biggest parts about like the culture is just like continuous improvement and always like striving to be better and to be like, looking at our processes and looking at how to make things better. And I also feel like a big part of it is, how like there's the saying like work hard, play hard. Well, I feel like pretty much we're definitely focused on what we do, so it's kind of like work hard, but I feel like that's exhibited from the top down, so we all kind of get that motivation to always like strive, because that's what we're seeing exhibited, I guess.
Cool. Amber or Monica, do you have anything to add on to that?
Okay, I'll say something. I think our culture's like providing like a safe environment to where people can grow and learn, and I don't know, it's process improvement and like making sure that everybody feels like they can come to work and feel comfortable and enjoy their job.
Cool. I love that. I think one of the big things I heard is not between both of you is that not only is everyone there motivated to work hard and, but really they're motivated to bring their full selves, right? They, like you said, you've created this space where people feel comfortable to come to work and be them. And that's a really powerful thing when you talk about a company's culture, right? Because that's not something we can always take for granted. So that's really cool and really special to hear that. So a little bit of a fun question, make you think about what you like about your job. What are some of your favorite and least favorite things, and or least favorite? Maybe you don't have a least favorite about custom interface. Amber, why don't we start with you?
My favorite part of my job is, well, I do 2 different jobs here, and they all have to do with the same thing, and that is looking at new engineering drawings every day, like multiple throughout the day, and seeing new products that customers are trying to launch. And it's like, opening up a present on Christmas, like, and then, yay, I get to build this, and you get to see it in real life built, and then ship it out the door. And it's a really good feeling, and that's the most exciting part of the job. It keeps me going every day. At least, Oh, sorry, there was a least favorite too. I forgot about that one. Not very much to say there. I'm pretty satisfied here, and if I had to say something, it would be, how difficult it is as a company and even just in the Gorge to find qualified and like skilled individuals to fulfill our demands of the work that we have coming in. That's been our biggest struggle, and so sometimes it puts a lot of pressure on the few of us that really know what we're doing, because we have to like work harder to get the things done, and spend a lot of time in training and trying to keep people on board, you know.
Yeah.
It's been a struggle.
Yeah, so that's interesting. It's like you really love the company you work for, but that, supply chain shortage of trying to find, people that are qualified and that can also come in and want to stay there, as being a pain point. I know that's definitely something we've been feeling at our work too, and a lot of people have been feeling all over. But it's interesting that even with that, and you three and I'm sure others throughout the company really feeling the effects of that, not having enough people on board, that you still feel like the workplace is a really supportive and positive environment. So that's really good to hear. Monica, how about you?
So my favorite part is, custom interface is very diverse. We have just about every, type of, I guess, and you come here and it feels like you're coming home to like your second family. So I love that, where you can come and you feel very comfortable walking in the doors, and you're just gonna get to know different people. And my least favorite part is the employee turnover. Sometimes it's just not the right fit for them, so we just have a lot of employee turnover in that.
Do you tend to see the employee turnover more with a particular job or role, or more just like people are coming in, realize it's not a great fit, and then leave?
It varies. I guess it would be probably production, the main
Hmm.
department, but yeah.
Cool. And Amy, how about you? Favorite and least favorite?
Oh, yeah. Well, I really like our location. Like, that's one thing that's awesome. Monica and Amber like it a lot too, and Amber is always taking pictures, and yeah, it's fun. And yeah, something that I really appreciate is that we do bring people in that really have no background experience, and we give them all of the training and all of the skills, and we spend months training someone from the ground up. And I feel like we all came in kind of in that way. Amber had a little bit more experience, I think I did coming into this, but have room to grow. And yeah, there's internal hiring and opportunities for lateral and vertical movement. And yeah, we bring people in who never held one of our hand tools, and then they learn everything. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's really great, especially when you're talking about, trying to find people and more to work in the company. The fact that you're allowing people to come in that maybe don't necessarily have all the experience but learn it there on site is really critical for creating more of that inclusive environment, as well as presenting more opportunities for people in the community. So that's really great to hear.
Yeah, definitely investing in people. We're putting in so much time and training, and so we
Yeah.
invest.
And do you see that paying off when it comes to the people that do stick around and how that affects the culture?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like we've been we have a lot of demand right now, so we've been hiring, and I think that the new people are feeling pretty good. And it is a little bit, I think it can be intense for people at first, just learning. It's like learning a new language and stuff, and at first it's oh my gosh, what does this even mean, or what is this word, and it might be overwhelming at first, but, and that might be why some people are like, this is not what I was expecting, but, I think that it's probably pretty fulfilling, I guess, to like see yourself improve, and then like, I don't know, I feel like I see that.
Yeah, that sounds great. Thank you. Okay, our next question, just to move things along a little bit. What are some of your favorite benefits that custom interface offers? And maybe are there any specific ones that you really appreciate being a woman working for that company? And Monica, why don't we start with you?
Perfect. So I recently, well, it's been 2 years, but I feel like it's recent. I was on maternity leave, so I feel like the benefit of being able to take maternity leave, and also I was a single mom for a while, so I was able to bring my daughter when needed, so it was very flexible with, you know, having that as well. So I feel like that was a benefit of being able to, you know, bring my daughter here as well.
That's really cool. And did you find that your daughter also enjoyed being there with you? Maybe not 100% of the time.
So we did get to know several of my coworkers, and she still, till the date, asks and remembers them, so.
Wow, that's really cool. Amber, how about you?
One thing I really like is the vision insurance, and I never really took advantage of that my whole life until recently in the last year or so, because I just, you know, a recent birthday, so it makes my eyes need corrective lenses now, which has been fun. It's been quite an experience, and it's really helped a lot. Like, I stare at a computer all day. I'm sure all of us do, but very small parts, micro soldering. So like, my eyes were struggling with the strain and the tired, not in a bad way, but a little bit of correction really helped, and it's just made like every day so much better and relieved a lot of other like pressures I was having, of like that were eye related, really.
Yeah,
So that's been a
that's really cool, especially because that's such a small thing, right? Not every company offers vision insurance because it's usually seen as more of an optional thing. But when you're working in some of these companies, especially like custom interface or ones where you are working with small things, it's a really important part of your role. So that's a really, really great one to highlight. How about you, Amy?
Yeah, I mean, I was going all on the 4-day work week. That's like my favorite thing. I love my Fridays, but yeah, I was gonna mention the like insurance benefits and those types of benefits, and we also Custom Interface does 100% coverage of the premiums for the basic plans. So I think that's really helpful, and something that sometimes people don't take into consideration, like with our pay rate, but then also like what else are you getting on top of it? Like, again, investing in the employee. So yeah, it's like medical, vision, dental, life insurance, employee assistance program. We do educational assistance also, and both Monica and I have taken advantage of that too. So yeah, there's some really good ones. So I like those too.
That's really great. It sounds like, just like you said, the company is really putting the employee first and thinking about what they need to be successful and happy, right? I want to swing back really quick. You briefly mentioned a 4-day work week as a benefit that you like. When you say a 4-day work week, does that mean that, the company's open 4 days a week and you all work 10-hour days? Or is it more like a 4-hour or 4-day work week, but it's still an 8-hour day?
No, so it's a 10-hour day, so usually like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then we do have some overtime, but that's all like voluntary, and if, needed, but yeah, so the day's a little bit longer, but I don't think it feels much different than 8 hours, and having the Friday feels a lot different than not having the Friday.
Yeah.
It's just like,
Yeah, that's really cool. Do you Actually don't know if there's a lot of other companies around here, and maybe we'll learn more as we start talking to more companies, but I think custom interface is the first one I've heard of with a 4-day work week around here, and it's really cool to hear that. Like, hey, that's one of your favorite things, right? It gives you more flexibility and it gives you a day back. Like every day is a 3-day weekend, and that's huge when it comes to R&R. So that's really cool to
Yeah,
hear.
sometimes when I wanna like hang out with someone else, it has to be someone that works here, because nobody else has Friday off. So you can't find anyone.
Should fight for change, get more people with Fridays off. Okay, so a little bit of a different question, but I think you guys have somewhat hinted to some of these things through the previous questions. What's it like being a woman at Custom Interface? And really also from your unique perspective in your particular roles, right? You're each, although you work at the same company, you do different things, and often that can look different. So Amy, why don't we start with you?
Yeah, so we like have a lot of women here, which I think isn't always super common, and I think it's really nice. We have women in like leadership roles and positions of authority, and like being like the main people in our departments, and yeah, I think it's super great. I know there's another question where you asked something similar, but like, maybe we'll get there. I don't know. Maybe I'll chime in later, but yeah.
Cool. And how about Monica?
In my role, I feel like it's always been kind of different because I feel like I just kind of work with Nancy a lot of the time, and she's a woman as well. So my interaction as a woman with other women is very, very common on like my work days. So it's always been great. I mean, it's I have to say about having work with another woman.
Yeah, and really quick for those on here or watching that don't know, Nancy that Monica just referred to is Nancy White, and she is the CEO of Custom Interface. So that's who Nancy is if you hear her name come up. Okay, and Amber, what's it like being a woman in your role?
Mine's a little bit different than theirs. I work down on the production floor, and there are a lot of really strong women role models. I consider them as role models that are in leadership. So like production supervisor, some line leads. I've really just admired them since the first time I came in. And I've been exposed to that before other places I've worked. I've been in production for a while, in manufacturing. So, really great group of people. For my particular role, every day, like where I sit on my team, it consists mostly all guys. I'm the only female for 3 years on a team of like 6 guys. And we're all very close, that we work really well together, and I'm just like one of the guys. We really don't notice. I mean, obviously I'm the female, but we all bring our own unique view to things when we're working on projects, and there has never been a real issue. If there was an issue, where there has been, because it's male dominated in some of the technician roles. There are lots of female assemblers, but when you get to the technician role, it's really male dominated. And so, like with the engineering work and stuff. And so I've had to be really strong during that time, and I've been challenged quite a bit. And whenever there was an issue that was like unbearable, like a real problem with an individual or somebody who wasn't being a good employee, always felt comfortable to report it and like talk to my higher ups, and leadership management always took care of it really well, and like always made me feel good and made corrective actions right away. And then I felt immediately comfortable. Like some places might not have done that, and I really appreciate like the steps that were taken to make sure that I was felt safe at my job.
Yeah, that's really great. One thing I really want to highlight here is how you know, one of the things we talk about when we want to do this spotlight series is to talk to women from different parts of the company for this exact same reason, right? Like we have vastly different experiences. You know, we heard from, you know, Amy and Monica about how, you know, they're primarily working with women and there's a lot of women at the company and they feel that. And then now we talk to Amber, who's the only woman on our team, right? And all of us, or all of you, have, you know, different experiences and interactions. But one of the really great things I think you just said, Amber, that highlights a little bit more about the company culture is that they respond quickly and they act quickly, right? Like, you know, you might have different challenges that you face being in a team, where you're the only woman versus other people who have more of that integration or surrounded by more women or more balanced. And, you know, when you do have those challenges that are a little too much for you to handle on your own or you feel like are overwhelming, the company is there to step in and help out and do it in a way that makes you feel positive in the end. And I think that's really powerful to know that even when you do have these imbalances, they still work really well and you feel comfortable enough to speak up, to rectify these things rather than, you know, feeling like you want to walk away from the company or something because it won't get resolved. So that's really great to hear. All right, I think for the sake of time, I'm gonna skip over one question and we're gonna just start jumping into talking about questions more related to the theme of today. You know, we have a better idea of what custom interface is about, but let's jump into the theme. And today's theme is around diversity, equity, and inclusion in the workplace and women in leadership and how those two things really interact together. And so when we were originally looking for companies to participate in the Spotlight series, we asked them to respond to a couple questions to give us a better idea of, you know, what the company is and what the company looks like, as well as, you know, what the leadership stands for and what they're really looking at. And for you all at Custom Interface, your CEO, Nancy, responded to that form for us. And when she applied, she left us the following note when we were asking about the company and demographics. And the quote says, "In my role as CEO, Maya's Nancy, I've taken a stand for creating an inclusive, respectful work culture. I experienced, as most women have, many types of gender harassment and disrespect. I want to prove that a company will flourish if it treats employees, suppliers, and customers with respect and integrity." So, given your time at Custom Interface and how long you've been there, and if you've interacted with Nancy and others, what are your thoughts on this statement? Do you tend to agree more with it or disagree? And do you see this reflected in actions that the company takes as a whole, both internally and externally? Amber, let's start with you.
I 100% agree. I've seen it in action. I've witnessed it, and it's really wonderful to see that someone actually doing something for the greater good and like making somewhere better than it is and like making the effort.
Can you give an example maybe of some of the things you've seen?
So whenever things felt a little off or like, you know, then we would have like a sexual harassment training for everyone in the company to go over and like a routine training and to make sure that everyone's aware of what standards are in place. And in some of the things I've described before, like if there was something that was really bothersome, I felt heard and valued, and like she played a very important role in that. And, makes me really happy.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, I think that example that you gave, plus the ones you had before, really do highlight ways that, you know, from the people who are running the company from the top, right? Whenever you see something and you just want to say, no, that's not okay, right? You don't have to do it in a way that calls out somebody or singles out a group of people or whatever, right? It's just something as simple as, hey, everyone's required to take this training again, this routine thing, but, you know, this is timely, so we're doing it right now. Those types of things really make a difference. And I think that's really a really great example that you brought up. Monica, how about you?
I definitely 100% agree as well, and the reason why is also like I've experienced disrespect, and it's always been handled immediately, and Nancy was great at noticing and handling it right away without it getting at a worse place, I guess. So it was handled timely, and there was absolutely no retaliation after, so I absolutely enjoyed that part as well, where, you know, you report something and obviously there was no retaliation, so that was great.
Yeah.
So I definitely agree with
And since both of you brought this up, one of the things that I think about when you said, like, you know, have felt disrespected or something like that, do you find that most of these things are happening with coworkers internally, or is it interaction with customers, or is it, you know, if you go to a trade show and you're noticing things like this, or is it kind of a mix of everything?
For me, it's been internally, so that's how I've experienced it.
Cool. I mean, not cool, but at least it's like, it's contained, right? It's not like, because I know at least in my job, in my role, sometimes when I see these things, right, my company is great and the people I interact with are, you know, wonderful, and maybe occasionally something internally comes up. But, you know, for me, often things come up when I'm talking to customers or when I'm at trade shows, and it's like, okay, what do you do in those situations and how do you handle those, right? Because, you know, the people you're working with, your customers or people you're meeting, are not working at your company, so you can't expect that. You hope to, but you can't expect the same standards, right? So the fact that it's internal at least helps keep the culture and keep things a little bit more insular. Amy, how about you?
Yeah, I just feel like for my time that I've been here, we really try to make it clear, like, what our expectations are, and our expectations, like, because we do have a really diverse workforce and people from all sorts of backgrounds and ages and races and, like, all the differences that you can imagine, and it's just kind of like, I know we're all different, but, like, treating everyone with respect and, like, dignity, and it's clear that that's how it should be polite to everyone. Yeah, I guess sometimes even like, you know, we do spend so much time together that sometimes it's like, you know, we feel like family, we're getting pretty comfortable, but it's like, don't get too comfortable, like, be aware that you're at a workplace, and like, everybody should be respectful and stuff, and, yeah, so making clear what our expectations are and then following through with those things.
Yeah, and I think that combined with how those are reinforced, right, and handled, and every experience, I think really makes that, you know, that statement of Nancy saying, I experienced, you know, many types of gender harassment and disrespect, and prove that a company can flourish if their employees, suppliers, and customers are treated with respect. And I think, you know, the fact that you have those policies and that they come up and that you feel, you know, empowered to report things so that they're taken care of quickly and don't change, I think really also supports that part of that statement, right? That, you know, you've seen it, you know, we're essentially saying we don't tolerate it, right? Like, that's not okay, and we're not going to allow an environment to thrive like that. And so, yeah, I think that's really powerful. Okay, so one of kind of getting away from that, looking more at company makeup and statistics, one of the unique things about custom interface that I thought was really interesting, and you have brought up a couple different times in this conversation, is that, you know, there's a woman at the top. And so there's so many statistics you can find out there, you know, nationally, internationally, statewide, whatever, that demonstrate why this is like a really special thing that you have, you know, a woman running the company. So, you know, for instance, one of those is, despite a record high number of Fortune 500 women CEOs that they had in 2021, there's still more than 10 times as many companies run by men than women in the United States, right? Even though there's more women coming into these roles, there's still not a lot. And so for all the folks that do work for a women-run company, and, you three are an example of that. Are there any differences you notice, working here versus maybe working at a previous job where there wasn't a woman CEO? Uh, Monica.
So I have definitely noticed a difference at my old past job. The CEO was a male. So coming here and having Nancy being a female, I feel like she is more understanding to my life as a woman as well, and she can relate to situations that I've had to come across. I feel like I'm more her here than I was previously, and I think it has a lot to do because Nancy, being the CEO, is also a woman. She can relate.
Yeah, that's hard to find, and really powerful, right? One of the things I wonder based off that statement is, do you feel that, men or maybe people who are non-binary that might work at custom interface, do you feel that they feel that as well? Or at least, it's like, you can't know necessarily for them, but do you feel like that extends to them and they also feel supported and appreciated? Or maybe is there a tendency that they may feel similar to how you felt at your previous company, being a woman working for a male-run company?
I think in general, everybody here is heard, and I feel like they will definitely, I think, feel they'll just be 100% heard here.
Cool. How about you, Amber?
One thing I noticed since I started working here and what I really like about this company, is that Nancy, I've seen her here almost every day. There's been times we're not, but she's usually walking around and saying hello, and it's a really good feeling that she checks in and that she's present, and feels like we're all working together as a team, like that she makes the effort to come in here and make sure everything's running smoothly and with a smile. And I've worked, my first big manufacturing job was for a medical device manufacturing, and it was a very big Fortune 500 company. So many people that you almost feel unnoticed and unheard, and like very fast paced, go, 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 very replaceable. Like it was a very tough place. This was down in California, and never knew who ran it or ran it. And I worked for another manufacturing company that was small, but you never saw the owner. They were there maybe once a year, and it was a male, and really didn't know them on a personal level, or like didn't have that feeling of like connectedness for your work and like what you're doing, like purpose. And I think Nancy really makes that like there's a purpose to what we're doing, and we're all working hard towards it, and that's what feels really good. That's probably the better place I've worked at this year.
Yeah, that's great. The fact that Nancy's present. I know earlier this year I had, the privilege of also meeting Nancy when we were looking at, places where we can host future Gorge Women in STEM events. And I thought it was really neat that, Nancy had the time to one, meet me and to show me around and, answer questions and be there and present. So, a lot of times people running companies don't, put in the time or necessarily have the time to really check in, right? Just like you said, you don't necessarily see them, you don't know them. It's really easy to just kind of feel disconnected, especially as companies get bigger. But yeah, the fact that people are present and they're showing up and, meeting someone like me that works somewhere else, or, being there for people like you, right? Just walking around and saying hi and checking in and make sure you're doing well and being present, as well as running a company, is pretty huge and not something you see. Amy, how about you? Do you notice any differences between previous companies?
Yeah, I would say that, while I'm here, oh, sorry, that's the train. You might hear the train. I'll let it go, yeah. So yeah, I would say like being here and like every day, I don't really think about the fact that I'm a woman. So I would say that that's like kind of that we're on the right track, that I'm like, there's no interactions that like reminds me that I am or anything that's the last company I was at, there was almost feeling of like a little bit of masculine like toxicity, and that things were said to me because I was a woman, or that like I shouldn't like talk about certain things because like things could be hurt, like things like that, you know, which like would never be said here. But yeah, I think part of it that is nice, having Nancy and having other people, like women in leadership roles, is that we think of them so often like leaders as being men, when really our culture or our society like really instills things in women, like being empathetic, being cooperative, like collaborating. We have these like in our pockets, and that makes us and people like women good leaders. And so it's just surprising that we don't have more, when like have this have all these skills of like really good leaders, you know.
Yeah, do you almost feel like it's almost someone you can look up to within like the professional workplace, right? It's you seeing the leaders being women at the top?
Giving you confidence and feeling comfortable in your skin to just be who you are and not have to worry about, you know.
Yeah. Cool. So let's move on. I think we're running a little bit low on time, so we'll just wrap it up with a couple extra questions. One of them is, you know, you talked a little bit about this. One of the things I really do want to highlight about the company is, right, the diverse makeup. And you've talked about how this really has an impact on your day-to-day with the last question. But some of the statistics that we got from Custom Interface that at least I felt were really powerful, was that, 42% of the employees that work there are women, and over 50% of their salaried administrative and technical positions are staffed by women. So even though there's still a male dominated, presence in some of those roles, like what Amber was talking about, right? There overall is this, greater sense of almost being a 50-50, right? Like over 50% of those roles are staffed by women. And then when you look at the senior staff level, 80% of their most senior staff, so people who have been with the company at least 10 years, are women. And so what that's showing too is that, when we're looking at, recruiting being, where do we find women? How do we fill these roles, right? And how do we keep them and maintain them and make sure it's happy and supported? That 80% number is huge, right? That means that 80% of people that stay with the company for 10 or more years are women, and they're feeling supported and they're feeling like this is a great place to work. I mean, Monica, you're not even in that statistic yet, but you're almost there, right? You've been at Custom Interface for about 9 years. And you're still talking about how much you like working here and how supported you feel, right? And so I think that is just really powerful on its own. And I wanted to make sure we made a point of, saying those and talking about them. Even though you've been talking about just what it's like, being surrounded by women, having a woman at the top and feeling comfortable and in your skin. And I think those statistics really are representative of that too. And so, when we look at, what does it actually look like to be a company and how does that have an impact, right? Your experiences and what you're seeing, I think, is a direct impact of what happens when you start to balance things, right? And it's not just with women, it's also with, when we talk about race or we talk about gender, or we talk about, non-binary gender and other ways that make us unique, right? It's about having more of that equal representation so people feel more present and ready essentially at the workplace and wherever they're going to be. So for the sake of time, I'm going to essentially skip to our final question, which we end each of these sessions with, and it's just to reflect and really, think about everything that we've talked about tonight and that you have mentioned and your experiences. And so, in your honest opinion, as a talented woman working for a STEM company, right? You're working at Custom Interface. Would you recommend Custom Interface as a supportive and great place for a woman to work? And so, Amy, let's start with you.
I mean, yes, definitely. Like, I feel like I've been given the opportunity to, like, grow a lot, and, you know, even sometimes, like, people putting their faith in me, even when I didn't quite have faith in myself, which, you know, I don't know, sometimes you need that little push to, like, be bigger than you think you can be. So, like, and knowing that I can continue to grow and continue to have support and learn as much as I can, yeah, definitely.
Monica, how about you? Would you recommend it?
I would definitely recommend it. I've only had great experiences here, and I enjoy working here so much that I would wish more people want to work here as well and like experience the same things I have. So I would definitely.
Great. And Amber, how about you?
I highly recommend working here. We definitely need you, so come join our team. And I think we've really figured it out, a great environment to where you can thrive. So like, if you feel like you can't do it or it might be too hard, like, as long as you're provided the right tools and the right people in the right environment, it won't be a problem for you. And I feel like we've created that here, and I wish a lot more people would try it. And I think what happens other places, what is the norm is that people shy away from certain things that they don't feel is their role, or, you know, oh, I can't do that or anything. And it's like, you can actually, I didn't realize I would love my job until I was provided with the right environment. And so that's been the big change for me, is went from not liking a job to loving a job.
Yeah, I think you just saying right there, I didn't know I could love my job until I was given the right environment, I think is something we should all have written on our walls, right? Is that reminder of, you know, we come into these careers, we come into these fields because we're excited about something, and the job and the workplace make a huge difference into whether we can thrive and enjoy ourselves or not, right? And you guys have really stumbled into working somewhere. Well, not stumbled, you probably chose intentionally, but found a place where you can really feel like that you are supported, and because of that, love your job and come in and be present every single day. So on that note, I want to say thank you so much to coming and talking to us about Custom Interface and your experiences here, and especially your experiences as, you know, as a woman working at these companies, right? Sometimes, you know, you guys have lots of positive things to say, but the fact that you were being genuine and talking about some of those, you know, tougher challenges that you have seen is really powerful, and is what really helps bring these conversations together. So I want to say thank you so much on behalf of all of us. And really quick, for just a quick wrap up, this is the company spotlight series for Gorge Women in STEM. Thank you for joining us for this one. Our next event, really quick, is in July, and it will be in person, and we'll be announcing it soon in terms of more details, but it will actually be hosted at Custom Interface in Washington. So it'll be an in-person event hosted by the company. You just heard from all of these people, and we're really excited about it. We'll be releasing details. There'll be more towards the end of next month, but keep an eye out for that. It should be a really fun time. And then also on top of that, we're going to be releasing soon our sign up for our big event in September, to really just start getting it on your calendars, which is going to be our big fall annual party, which is really meant to bring people together, celebrate our community, look at what we've done, network, and just celebrate where we're moving forward. And, you know, it can be bring your coworkers, you can bring a +1, whether that's a friend, a partner, or just someone you found that works for a STEM company that you're like, you should meet these people. So, and that one's going to be in person and held at Sigma Design in Camas. So hope that we see you all at future events, and as a minimum that we see you at the next Spotlight Series event. And stay tuned for more details. All right, good night, everyone.